Darth Vader finally reached Exegol in Greg Pak's comic, so today I just want to go through everything he found on the planet about 30 years prior to the events of the Rise of Skywalker and give you my thoughts on it all because there is definitely a lot to unpack. First, we see a bunch of proto-Snokes in a jar. I can't tell if they're meant to be exactly who or what Snoke will become or if they're still in the process of creation. We can see that they're alive to some degree as one of them is screaming in his vat. Palpatine is giving a big speech about pain at this time, about how it's the scalpel of creation and that he used pain to create these Snoke things. But there's definitely still some confusion surrounding how Snoke came to be. The Rise of Kylo Ren comic suggested that Snoke looked like a normal person at one point, and his disfigurement was Luke's doing. If any character needed a Darth Plagueis-style novel to clear up his whole story, it's Snoke. I hope that happens sooner rather than later, or it could be that we'll explore all that in The Mandalorian or maybe even The Bad Batch. I like the idea that the Kaminoans might be wiped out shortly after the rise of the Empire. With the cloning experts gone, it could show why Palpatine had so much trouble creating a new body for himself in The Rise of Skywalker. But moving on, Vader also finds what has to be Luke's severed hand. That caused quite the stir online, with people speculating that Luke's DNA could have been used to create Snoke or perhaps other creatures on Exegol. I've said before, I'm not a fan of that idea. It feels too Dragon Ball Z to me. It reminds me of Cell, who was created by combining the DNA of the most powerful heroes in the universe, and I'm not knocking the Cell saga, I just think it feels a little out of place in Star Wars. Just my opinion. My current hope is that it's just a little Easter egg, a nod to the clone of Luke from the original Thrawn trilogy who was created through the same means, just showing us that, yes, Palpatine has the hand as a trophy of sorts. Isn't that fun? We could very well learn that Palpatine is actively using the hand for something. I admit it makes sense, especially because it's on Exegol, but it seems like Vader is leaving the planet, and we probably won't look into that any further in this series, so we'll have to wait and see if another writer picks that thread up. Next on Vader's tour of terror, he gets attacked by some large clones with strange helmets. They look messed up in the way that the Proto-Snokes do, but they're still imposing. I kinda love the idea that these might be the Praetorian Guard. We never get to see their skin or faces in The Last Jedi, and thinking that they might look like this under all the armor is just cool. They're shown off as basically a combat trial for Vader in this moment, but they could serve a similar purpose for Kylo Ren. Snoke was like a test to see if Ren was worthy of becoming a Sith. He's given a master, and his destiny is to kill that master. And then, as like an added bonus, Palpatine could throw 8 warriors at him once the master is dead. I've seen people asking things like, why did the Praetorian attack despite Snoke being dead already? Why not bend the knee to Kylo, the new Supreme Leader? And if it's all just a test engineered by Palpatine, then I think that answers that. Moving further into the depths of Exegol, Vader encounters a number of Sith acolytes and the Zeiston-class Star Destroyers under construction. I definitely hope we one day learn more about the acolytes. It's possible they could also be clones of some kind, but it's hard to tell if that was the artist's intent or if the masks just make them all look similar. We know members of the Final Order weren't all clones. They were born and raised on Exegol, so that's my assumption here as well. People born and raised to serve the Emperor and do his bidding on this one terrible planet. I'm glad to see that the Star Destroyers have been in construction for a long time. Yes, Palpatine was working on a second Death Star, but once the Empire had that super laser technology down, he went into another phase. And how do they power all those super lasers? A mountain of kyber crystal at the heart of the planet. That's what I think is the big takeaway from this comic. It shows the influence of the dark side on an entire world. Now I really want to see Exegol before the Sith arrived, because being bled is not a natural state for kyber. This planet was probably once full of life, but then the Sith found this mountain and bled it and turned it all into a desolate hellscape. Exegol was one of my favorite things about The Rise of Skywalker, and I love this added bit of history. This is a planet I think would be really interesting to see no matter the time period it shows up. I also wonder if it could be healed one day. Ahsoka purified some red lightsaber crystals. In theory, this planet could also be purified. But that's everything Vader found underneath the surface of Exegol and my thoughts on it all. Let me know what theories you have about all this stuff in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Star Wars coverage, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.